everyone. On this week's Energy Quick Chat, we speak to James Chester, the International Conference Director for the South Sudan Oil and Power Conference to be held in Juba, the capital city, from September 13 to 14, 2022. The conference is organized by the Pan-African Investment Platform, Energy Capital and Power. Thank you for speaking with us on Energy Quick Chat, sir.
Thanks very much, Shimona. Very happy to be here.
So to my first question, what is the idea behind the upcoming South Sudan Oil and Power Conference?
So the idea behind the South Sudan Oil and Power Conference is that we wish to bring attention to an incredible market that exists onshore Africa for the oil and gas industry and also for the power industry. South Sudan is a land of incredible potential. Anybody who's ever been there and worked there will say this. It's a tough environment sometimes in which to work, but it's also an environment that exposes a lot of incredible opportunity. So we want to bring investment into energy in South Sudan. We believe that it's good for the country, it's good for its people, it's good for the private sector and the government there, and also for the region as a whole, because we think that the region has a lot that it can learn and profit from in South Sudan.
So what roles can South Sudan assume in Africa's unfolding energy transition?
Well, South Sudan is actually a very, very pivotal country in the East Africa region. It's the only major oil producer to date. So Kenya is an up-and-coming producer of oil. Uganda is the same. Maybe we'll see production from DRC in the future, but right now we have a producer in South Sudan which has been going for decades and decades. However, that has not translated necessarily into services being exported to the region. It's not translated necessarily into South Sudan actually providing energy for the region and optimizing its industry so that it takes advantage of that regional market which exists. So Ethiopia, Kenya, other countries are very nearby, and South Sudan actually should be providing energy to those places, and those places should be taking advantage of the services that South Sudan can offer them.
Okay, so are you expecting any energy deals to be signed at this conference?
Yeah, very much so. We're looking forward to national oil companies getting together. So we have the national oil companies of South Africa and Sudan and Djibouti. All of those will be present and more in Juba for the conference. As you said, it's on the 13th and 14th of September in the Radisson in Juba. We expect deals to be signed between those national oil companies. There is a precedent for this where South Africa's company SFF has already signed a deal with Nilepet and a partnership, and has a partnership with the country where they're exploring for oil and gas. We hope that there'll be more such deals coming up. We're also expecting deals to be signed between the private sector in South Sudan, between regional companies and between international participants in the conference. And that could be all the way from power infrastructure financing, which we are very much expecting, through to hopefully exploration, production, these kinds of sectors. So yeah, absolutely, deals will be signed.
Interesting. So what recent energy impact has Energy Capital and Power made in the East Africa region?
I think that the impact that we've had has been to bring South Sudan to the forefront and to tie South Sudan into a global and African energy narrative. It's something that we take pride in doing. This is our longest running national event. We've been doing this since 2017. We've been bringing companies into South Sudan. We've been showing the best of that market. And so really that's where we focus in East Africa. And I think that we've really had an impact. There have been some partnerships which have come out of this. There have been companies that have signed deals, that have made money, that have taken the industry forward. and created jobs. And we'd want that to continue and grow larger, create more jobs, bring energy to more people, boost the industry further, and help South Sudan to really reach its potential that we all know exists there.
Okay, so is Energy Capital and Power looking into research and development as an area that needs investments in the energy industry? And do you have any proof of this?
Well, I mean, we would say that research and development is just one of the very important areas that we touch upon at the conference. Our work is to bring together the right people and make sure that they have the right conversations, and then steer that towards tangible results. R&D is incredibly important. We know that it's really critical that kind of R&D activity is brought into South Sudan and brought into African countries and done there rather than done outside. That's particularly important in an environment like South Sudan, where there are some barriers to doing business which are imposed on the country. So it's important that R&D is there. It's important that that data is kept in country and processed in country. That's something which South Sudan is doing a lot of with its new exploration licensing round. We'd really hope that goes across the region to places like DRC and Somalia that are also doing their own licensing rounds. R&D is critical, but there's a lot of other work to be done: policy making, local content, other technology factors, and financing, which is just really the route is getting financing for projects, and that's something that we're very serious about.
Okay, so tell me about the lineup of speakers, exhibitors, and others at the South Sudan Energy Summit.
There's actually a really, really wonderful lineup of speakers coming to the conference. So, through the private sector, which is coming internationally from Canada, from the UK, from Europe, from America, and of course from Kenya, Uganda, and the region. Apart from that, we do have countries represented at ministerial level. So we're very, very excited. We're welcoming the minister from South Africa, the energy minister. We're welcoming the new Minister of Petroleum from Somalia. We hope that Kenya's minister will come over. Of course, there's a new government coming in Kenya. We'll be welcoming a very large delegation from Sudan, also from Djibouti, and we have great representation from all of the main powers that are acting in South Sudan. So official representation from China, from Japan, from all of the Western countries, and from the African partners as well, and also from the banks. We look forward to welcoming Afrexim Bank, Stanbic, Kush Bank, many other banks will be attending as well, TDB. So we have a great lineup, and we're really excited for the conference.
Okay, we thank you so much for the engaging conversation and for your time here on Energy Quick Chat, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you very much.
James Chester, the International Conference Director for the South Sudan Oil and Power Conference. I am Omona Okonkwo. See you next time on Energy Quick Chat, where we speak to leaders from the energy sector.